Welcome to SHARS training by TSBS. In this training, we will cover the documentation requirements for both specialized transportation and personal care on the bus. For specialized transportation services, school districts may receive reimbursement on students who are Medicaid eligible and whose IEP includes transportation on a specially adapted vehicle, provided they receive a related SHARS service on that same day. The IEP must include the type of adaptation that is required on the vehicle and why the student needs that adaptation. A specially adapted vehicle is one that has been physically modified. Modifications can include the addition of a wheelchair lift, addition of harness or protective restraint devices, an addition of child protective seating, or the addition of air conditioning, provided the entire student transport fleet do not have air conditioning as well. Anytime a district's entire bus fleet has a specific adaptation that is not limited to only specialized vehicles, the modification is no longer applicable. This is primarily seen with adaptations like seatbelts or air conditioning. Specialized transportation allows for reimbursement on a one-way trip basis, and up to 4 one-way trips can be recorded daily. These trips can be to and from places such as the student's home to school, school to home, school to another campus, or from the student's home to a contractor. As stated before, in order for these trips to be reimbursed to the school district, another SHARS service must be provided and documented for that same day. Personal care on the bus. In order for a district to receive reimbursement, a student's IEP must include the need for each service. This is most commonly found on a transportation supplement page. The need for personal care services on the bus must also tie to the PCS supplement page in the IEP and meet the documentation requirements for personal care services. In most school districts, the diagnostician or ARD facilitators can enter the need for services. Personal care services on the bus can only be provided by a personal care service provider on the bus or vehicle. This personal care service provider must be listed on the participant list for the quarter in which they are providing services, over the age of 18, and be employed by the school district. Bus aides, monitors, or attendants can no longer provide personal care services on the bus. Let's now go over the documentation requirements for personal care services on the bus. In the event the school district places a personal care service provider on the special education route, this does not automatically qualify a student for personal care services on the bus. When submitting for PCS on the bus, the personal care service provider is required to document the one-way trips on the bus log, as well as initial each date of service, sign the SHARS bus log, and indicate which type of personal care service was provided each day. Just like specialized transportation, claims can be submitted on a one-way trip basis, with up to 4 one-way trips reported daily. Now let's look at an example of a transportation log. It is highly recommended that you use TSBS's provided bus logs, as they are fully compliant. The transportation log itself should include the school district name, the month and year for the route name or number, and the first and last name of each student along with the student identification information, like their date of birth. When notating if a student was present for a specific date of service, i.e. the student rode on the bus, please use an X in either the AM, PM, or both. If the student was absent, please leave the corresponding section blank. If you are a personal care service provider on the bus, be sure to indicate what type of PCS activity occurred each day. This is done by circling one or both of the listed E or T. E means you're providing escort of the student during the trip. This can include monitoring a student's behaviors that create an unsafe situation, such as attempting to open the vehicle door, removing a seatbelt, or elopement. T is for transferring, meaning you assisted the student with moving from one surface to another, including a chair, wheelchair, and vehicle. This can also mean moving from a standing or sitting position, as well as moving the student with a lift device. As noted, both the bus driver and personal care service provider must initial each date of service for each trip, along with signing the bus log, printing their name, and entering the date this occurred. Thank you for watching this training. We appreciate your assistance in your school district's continued success in the SHARS program.